What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with an update from the Iranian phenomena Behrouz, who changed his life and his bodybuilding career by finally stepping on the Olympia stage after a long wait of 3 years. So his story on how his visa kept on getting rejected year after year despite him winning shows and qualifying for the Olympia, but him staying so resilient. That has to be one of the most inspirational story of this past decade. So it was a disappointing weekend for Behrouz this year because he wasn't able to live up to the hype, the expectations, and I'm gonna say some very unreal ones. And they were set by none other than his own coach, Milos Sorsev. But that being said, Behrouz just stepping on the Olympia stage, that itself, that was a big win for him. And that is something that increased his chances of competing at the Olympia every year. So Behrouz is a very young guy. The fact is, he's gonna win multiple shows every single year. And he has been winning the third biggest show of the year, Dubai Pro, and that too very comprehensively for the past couple of years. And I'm gonna say, had he looked the same at this past Olympia as he did at Dubai Pro this year, he would have definitely placed a lot higher. So as of right now, Behrouz has slowly started to shift into the rebuilding phase. So many former pros out there think that he can be top 6 at the Olympia if he's able to bring up his legs, especially from the front. Now, that's easier said than done. That won't be an easy task, considering his genetics, and that is a genetically weak muscle group. So Behrouz would probably love to compete at the Arnold next year if he's allowed to travel to the US. But let's see what their future plans are. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So Urs and Martin Fitzwater, they were spotted training together today, and Martin was seen commenting on the progress that Urs has been able to make after the Olympia this year, which by the way was his debut in the Open. So Martin looked very impressed, and rightfully so. This is 9 weeks post-Olympia this year, and Urs right now, he looks mind-blowing, especially in terms of conditioning today. Now who won't be impressed when a bodybuilder has proportions like Urs has? The front relaxed itself. That is such an awesome pose for him, and it will be a huge advantage in every single show that he enters, as that is the first pose to make your first impression on the judges. So Stefan, who has been the coach of Urs for quite some years now, he said that it was just 12 weeks before Italy Pro this year, where him and Urs, they came to the conclusion that classic physique, that is no longer a reality for him. So that was the time they decided to go for the open bodybuilding, and prior to that, they both were doing everything in their power to cut down and make the weight. Now the fact is, the version of Urs that we saw 3 times this year, that was drastically improved compared to his classic physique look. Maybe not as ripped as he was when he was in classic, but the man was considerably bigger and rounder and more muscular. So the way this current off-season that has been cruising along for Urs, I for one cannot wait to see how he looks in about 6 months. So he's very young, very dedicated. So he's surely gonna climb up those Olympia ranks. If not in 2026, then surely in 2027. Next up, we have an update from 212 Olympia champion, Keone. So 2025 was the first time in the last 3 years or so where Keone did more than 1 show in a season. So he has been winning the Olympia title for 3 years in a row, and he has got a great mechanism of giving his body some time to relax, to reset. And you guys would be surprised to hear that the last guest posing that Keone did, that was in Germany. The man was totally clean. He was running nothing at that time, just cruising, and he looked pretty damn awesome and unbelievable there. So if Keone is ever gonna go for the open bodybuilding category permanently, and that might happen in the future, then he needs to have at least that kind of size to be competitive among the top ranks. And he himself said that he needs overall more pop, more roundness in order to compete with the big boys. For now, the focus is staying healthy for another few weeks before the offseason starts for 2026. Now, Keone wasn't 100%, and Sean Harida, his biggest rival, he was at his all-time best at this past Olympia. And still, Keone won, and that too quite handedly as per the judges and the scorecards. And that just goes to show us how dominant the man is right now in that 212, especially if he's 100%. So the only distraction that everyone pointed out, that was the midsection, especially at the Olympia prejudging. But he did control that pretty damn well during the recent guest posing, also in Prague. So Flex Lewis, he holds the record of 7 212 Olympia titles, and Keone already has 3. And as young as the man is, it is a very realistic idea and a goal to think that Keone, he can easily break that record. So every progress picture that the mutant Nick Walker has been posting, that kind of directs us towards the idea that the name of Nick Walker, that is gonna be in the official competitors list for the upcoming Arnold. So this is him, 9 weeks post-Olympia, and the man looks to be holding on to an awesome condition, and the body composition, that looks pretty damn awesome. So will it be a good idea to do one of the biggest shows of the year, coaching himself, and that too for the very first time? Well, at this point, Nick has nothing to lose. And the more we look at the pictures from this past Olympia, for instance, look at this angle of this abs and thigh shot with him, Martin, and Brendan. It was a terrible peak for Nick Walker, easily one of his worst looks ever. And the next time he takes the stage, he will most probably look a lot better because the margin of improvements, they are simply too much. Now that being said, Nick seriously has to consider downsizing a bit to some degree. So that his waist, that looks a bit more streamlined, but at the same time he has to make sure that his quad sweep, that doesn't lose any size, any muscle. So his look at the Olympia finals, that was actually very improved. But the judges, not considering him higher than Martin, that was a clear-cut message that he needs to fix that waistline. So the plan for Nick, that is simple. Go back to his roots for 2026. Go back to the look that earned him his first pro win. And that was at the New York Pro back in 2021. The same year, he won the Arnold. Now, at this point, we do not know whether that's even possible for him or not to bring that physique back. But if he does, I do believe he can be a threat. Now, can be giving a sweeping statement that the 2021 Arnold and the version of Nick that is gonna win the Olympia or the upcoming Arnold, because he still needs help from these structurally superior guys like Andrew and all these other top guys to come in off in order for him to win the big show. But that version of Nick, that might be a lot more dangerous. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.